you go. Cool. All right. So Kelsey is born and raised Louisiana, from small town Manning, Louisiana. And what high school did you go to?
Negrete High School.
Negrete. How many people did you graduate with?
About 38, I think.
About 38 people. So small town school, small town feel. Kind of transitioned from there. Now she's at LSU Alexandria, where she's going to be a junior. As you can see on our post that we have there, she was Louisiana Sports Writers All-State in the college. It's very impressive, especially as a sophomore. She was the youngest player on that. She's an all-time leading scorer already at LSUA. The list of records she broke just goes on and on. All-time leading scorer, single game score 42 points, single game field goals 15. Single game threes, 10. Single season threes, 101. This goes on and on. And she's had a great career already. And like we said, she still has 2 more years. So I really am excited about getting you on here. I think when people always talk about finding that quote-unquote perfect fit, you're a great example of that. Not always having to go to the biggest school or whatnot, but finding that perfect fit for you that works for you. And I think it's definitely working for you considering the career you've had thus far.
Yeah.
So kind of reflecting back to your basketball journey, when did you first start playing basketball?
Ooh, probably as young as I could be able to play to touch a basketball. But probably 4th grade is when I actually started playing. My dad started coaching me, and I've been coached by my parents all my life. So, yeah.
Cool. And whenever you were in high school, did your parents coach you there too, or
My mom coached me from my 7th through 12th grade.
Cool. Can you talk about your high school experience? Like I said, small town school, small town feel. Can you kind of talk about that in general, from being able to play at a super young age and all the way through?
Well, I mean, I live in the middle of nowhere, so it's kind of like, I mean, everybody knew me and everybody hated playing against me because it was me. Everybody, I don't know.
So, like, whenever you first started playing high school basketball, what grade was that?
I started playing high school in 5th grade.
5th grade. So that's what a lot of people don't realize, especially the people that are from like the metro area. I'm down in New Orleans, so a lot of people don't really realize how much and how young you can play high school basketball, especially in the smaller cities. So you played 5th grade. So you played, what is that? That is 7 years, I think, of high school basketball.
Yeah, something like that.
So, reflecting back on your high school experience, what was kind of one thing that really stood out to you during your high school experience?
Being from a small school, it's kind of like, I mean, you don't have a lot of like, I don't know, not as more like, you don't have as many advanced players, I guess you could say, as you do at like bigger schools. Like 5A schools, everybody, they have a whole squad that's good. I mean, we just have like average players at Negrete, so.
Yeah, nothing wrong with that though. You're able to kind of coach
Yeah,
them up and build them up throughout the time.
yeah. It was a lot of
Um,
fun.
I think a lot of people don't realize how passionate like the small town schools really take it. I coached a couple of years at Albany. I'm not sure if you're familiar with that, but every time we go to the top 28, they would shut the whole town down. They put on the gas station. We're going to the top 28. Sorry, the gas station's closed. Was there anything like that? Like, did y'all have a big time community involvement throughout your years there?
Not really, I would say. I mean, it was okay. I mean, big tournaments and stuff, it was packed, but like other than that, no. I live with a school and a post office, and that's anything. That's it. There's nothing else there.
Yeah,
So,
cool.
not really.
And then transition from that high school AAU. So you played with Lake City Pride. Can you kind of talk about that experience and how did that help you, I guess, get on college coaches' radars? Not many college coaches are coming through just the small town schools. It kind of is what it is. We have 400 and something high schools, so all the college coaches can't see all of them. So playing
Yeah.
AAU, can you talk about the impact that had on you?
Well, I've never played AAU at all. This is my first year, and it was like, I mean, I like to travel and stuff, so that was one thing good about it. But I don't know, it was kind of new to me and different, but I mean, it was a good experience.
like you said, playing against those top tier teams, top tier players, having them on your team as well, going against them as well. That's big time. Again, guys, anybody's jumping on, feel free to ask any questions. We're going to jump to some questions here. Here's a good one. So, you get a lot of shots up in the game. A lot of people just see like the 42 points, the 10 made threes and all that. They want to know how many shots do you get up a day? Like, how does that translate? How much work you have to put in to make that happen?
Well, I usually just shoot on the gun, shoot 500 shots usually a day, and I just put it on like 2 seconds and just let it go on the 3-point line and just keep shooting until I get tired. I usually take a break with 250 and go shoot free throws or something, but that's what I did.
And come back to 250 more, huh?
Yeah.
That's cool. I love it. Yeah, to get that quick release off, I definitely like that. That's awesome.
Yeah, that's what everybody says I have, a quick release.
That definitely helps. Gets us some more questions. So another good question. A lot of this platform is built for, younger girls like yourself coming up. We got a lot of middle school girls, a lot of high school girls, and we have some college girls too. What advice can you give to youth basketball players that are watching as they're trying to follow in your footsteps, I guess?
Yeah. Yeah, it like cut in and it cut out. Can you say that again?
Go ahead. So the platform that we have is middle school and high school. What advice can you give to a youth basketball player that's trying to follow in your footsteps of playing college basketball?
Well, honestly, any kid can play anywhere as long as you put your mind to it. I mean, you can, as long as you put the effort and work into it, then the outcome's going to come.
So it's a lot of hard work, a lot of 500 shots a day.
Yeah.
What other things did you have to do? I guess you're just kind of like hard nosed, get to it, being consistent every single day in, day out.
Yeah.
People don't realize the time in between, I guess, outside of that. Like, how did you go from 5th grade to being the all-time leading scorer at LSUA? Can you kind of talk a little bit about that?
Well, I was just in the gym every day. We had a gun in my high school, so I was just getting shots up every day, ball handling, whatever it was, just to make myself better, to try to be the best, because I was determined to do that.
Cool. So. Cool. Again, guys, anybody's jumping on, feel free to ask any questions. We got a lot of questions in the question box. We're going to get to some more of those. So everyone kind of thinks of you as a scorer. Not just a 3-point line. That's probably the better part of your game. You can really shoot it. But what makes you an effective scorer, like all around? What makes you an effective scorer?
Well, something I've been working on in my coach, just trying to improve from like jump shots and off the dribble. And I've gotten better at it, like somebody running out, shot fake, just trying to improve and make it where not everybody knows me just for the 3-point. So to make them be, I guess, honest with playing with me.
So I think something that I'll add to that too is, whenever you're good at a lot of things or just kind of average at a lot of things, it doesn't really stand out. But whenever you're like a great 3-point shooter, then that's going to have people closing out harder at you. So then it's going to make everything else easier. So some advice that I would kind of give some people, like, is do what you're doing. Go make 500 threes and be a great 3-point shooter. And that's going to make the rest of the game a lot easier. Wouldn't you agree with that?
Yeah. You just need more than just one thing to make you stand out as a player.
Yep. Let's see. Get to some more questions. Where did you get your first offer from? Were you? All right. It kind of says where you get your first offer from. We'll go with that one, but then we'll add to that. It also says were you like high school or AAU? Where did you get seen?
Oh, that's tough. I think I did a huddle or whatever, and that's where I got my first offer from, I think, ETBU.
Okay.
But other than that, no, not really.
So you think it was just mostly off of film, recording your games and kind of promoting yourself? Yeah, that's definitely good advice for this time of the pandemic, I guess you can say, is everyone's not really – we don't know if we're going to really play that many games over the summer. We know D1s can't go out. Huddle is definitely important. Even if you don't have Huddle, man, just create your own YouTube channel. YouTube's free. You can record your games on there. They got free softwares where you can cut your own film. Definitely, film is very, very important. And if your
That's
coaches,
actually how LSUA knew about me from film.
that's awesome. That's awesome. Especially small town schools. I mean, you just don't you don't have the resources that everyone else has, where they're going to
Yeah,
be able to get
nobody
out
knows
there.
you.
Even if you got to record your game on a camera, I mean, on a phone, every phone has a camera on there, man. Just record them and upload them and get yourself like some little basketball bank some game film. Let's get back to some more questions. What's been the biggest or the hardest obstacle in your basketball career?
Oh. I don't know. I really haven't had any really like big obstacles. Yeah, I don't know.
Have you had anything? No injuries, nothing like that.
No, sir.
Okay. What about like? I think your biggest obstacle, and you may not even really realize, is playing at a small school. Like you said, you had some challenges that other people didn't have. When you're playing at a bigger school at the end of the day, or you're playing AAU at a high level, you're gonna have other people that are coming to watch other kids, and then they may kind of watch you as well. That's probably the biggest challenge that you had. Like you said, playing AAU that last year definitely advanced you. And if you're at a smaller school, like you said at the beginning, man, go back to film. Watch film and get as much film out there as you possibly can. All right, question I got. I think I read in your bio that you want to be a coach. What do you want to do after the ball stops bouncing? We always talk about the basketball journey is coming up. What do you want to do after the ball stops bouncing?
Well, I wanna coach basketball and just teach kids the game that I love and help others fall in love with the game that this has been in my life, all my years.
So you got coaches that are in your family. Your mom, you said, you got other coaches that are kind of in your family. That's kind of in your bloodline.
Yeah, it is.
So you want to go back to high school and coach at high school? You want to try to get into the college level anywhere?
I don't know. I would like to do college, but I really think I want to do high school. I think I want to come back to Negreet and coach. So yeah.
Okay. So you're working on your degree at LSUA, or what's your degree in?
Elementary education.
Elementary education, cool. My little sister's an elementary teacher. She teaches third grade, so
yeah,
she
I
loves
love
it.
Kids.
She loves it, man. Again, guys, anybody's jumping on with us, we'll be on here for at least another 10 minutes. Feel free to ask any questions. You can ask them in the question box below. Here's a tough question. I feel like we definitely need to touch on it. So we're going to have a coaches Zoom tomorrow talking about the things that's going on in the world with the racism and all that. Someone asked a question, how do you feel about things that are happening to black people in America? How do you feel about what all is going on? What's your thoughts on that, and any advice that we can kind of have to help that?
I don't know. It's all crazy to me. I mean, I don't know. I haven't been really following up on all of it. I just know about all the riots and stuff that's been going on because of the guy that the police officer that stepped on his neck or was on his neck or whatever. But I mean, I don't really know, to be honest.
Yeah, no worries. I think it's something that's definitely that needs to be talked about more than anything. Like, we need to have these conversations. You being white, I'm white. This conversations that need to be had there needs to be had across all of America. You know what I'm saying? We just need to kind of come together, in my opinion. It's definitely something that needs to be recognized. I think it's going to be a lot of influence, and that I'm involved in sports, you're involved in sports. There's going to be a lot of eyes on us as our seasons start to come into fruition and everything. And I don't think we need to forget these things. We got to, this is a platform at the end of the day, you know what I'm saying? You have a platform, and I think it's important that we all use our voice in as much positive matter as we can. Like I said, at the end of the day, there's a lot of girls that are looking up to you, a lot of people that are looking up to myself as a coach and everything. So definitely was something that I want to kind of touch on, and something that we're going to, again, any coaches that are watching, man, please feel free to join us tomorrow. We're going to have a coaches Zoom where we're going to kind of talk about that a little bit more and what can coaches do in particular. Get back to some more questions. I'll jump to one of my questions. We already talked about what you're majoring in, so we'll jump into your college experience. Coming from a small school where you graduate 30 people, and then going to LSU Alexander, where it's roughly a small school, but it's still a huge gap for you. Can you just talk about that transition and how that kind of worked and some challenges you had along the way?
Well, that's one reason I chose A, because of how small it was, and just knowing everybody. And that's what I've grown up my whole life in a small school, so that's what I wanted to do. But I mean, it really wasn't that big of a change for me because I get along with everybody. I talk to anybody, make friends easily. So there wasn't really very many challenges I had to face.
Cool. So whenever you jumped into that, again, I think everyone always talks about fit. Can you kind of talk about how that was a great fit for you? How did you make that decision to be the great fit, and kind of how, at the end of the day, you can't really ask for much more. You went from small school, small college, and you're playing and having a great career. Y'all be very successful.
Well, it has a lot to do, just like what I said, just like being in the Greek where it's small. That's something I looked at because they're more like based on the community and more family. Like that's how it felt like. I felt like that was just home to me.
No doubt, no doubt. Small town school definitely is an easy transition. You're always kind of looking for some similarities. We got a cool little question here in the chat box. Again, anybody that's asking any questions, feel free. You can ask them in the chat box or just hit the question box at the bottom. Do you plan to play overseas after college?
I really want to, so I think I will, but I don't know. I'm debating, but I think it'll be a lot of fun, and I like to travel anyway, so I think it's something I'd want to do.
Okay, so you like to travel. That's good. That's definitely good.
Yeah.
What's the furthest you've ever lived away from home, as far as like from Manny to Alexander? How far is that?
About an hour and a half.
About an hour and a half. So it's going to be definitely a little bit of a shock being across the pond.
But I love being away from home, so
cool.
It's not a problem.
Cool. Definitely whenever you're looking at the overseas things, the overseas doesn't exactly understand how deep into like Division I, Division II, Division III in AI. So at the end of the day, as long as you're putting up numbers like you're putting up, you're definitely going to have an opportunity if that's something that you want to pursue. And then I'm sure the high school job will always be there at the end. At the end of the day, you just want to be able to say no to the opportunity. Like you want the opportunity. If you take it, yeah. If not, you say no thanks. So I would definitely keep your eyes open on that. So now y'all coming back your junior year, bringing back a good little bit of the team. I know y'all had some struggles. Y'all only had like 6 people at different times, so y'all be able to fill that roster out. What are you looking forward to next year? What excites you? What are you thinking about LSUA's chances next year?
I think they're going to be way better than they were last year. My first year there, we were pretty good, but like I feel like we just have a bunch of people coming in that's going to just work hard and give it all they got. And our attitudes and stuff are going to be way better this year than we've had in the past. So it's just it's going to be a big change, but I think we're going to be more of a one than, just scattered.
Yeah, no doubt. So we're getting back to some more questions from the comments. Got a cool question. What is the best way to stay motivated? So when you're getting in the gym and you're shooting 500 shots, how do you stay motivated to do that day in, day out? I mean, you can't just go in there one time and knock down 10 threes in a game. You got to do that a lot. How do you stay motivated?
Well, my thing is, there's many people that are way better than I am, and that's like a motivation to me. Like other people that are better than me, I want to be just as good as them, so that's what I use to motivate myself.
Cool. So you're trying to always look at somebody and trying to catch everybody that's above you, huh? So what are you gonna do whenever you're named the NAI All-American Player of the Year? Then who are you gonna try to catch?
There's somebody that's gonna be better than me, I promise.
That's awesome. Again, guys, those who don't know, Kelsey, she was on the NAI All-American honorable mention this year as a sophomore, which is big time. She was one of the youngest people to be on that list. So we're hoping that she can continue to stay hungry, man, and keep working and make that team next year. So you talked a lot about Negrete and how you got into the gym. Was the gym always open for you and your teammates to get in?
Well,
I
see,
guess.
my mom's a teacher plus the coach, so I could get the key whenever I wanted. So,
Yeah.
I
So
mean,
you just took the
if I wanted to
key,
go, if
called
I
them,
wanted
told,
to
"Hey,
go
we're
by
going in."
myself, I'd go.
That's awesome. Funny story. I used to. So when we used to leave practice when I was in high school, they had a window. I would unlatch it, and then I would leave, and I would come back at like midnight, 10 o'clock at night, and I would jump through the window and cut the lights on, all that stuff, and I would get on the gun. And one time at about 11:30 at night, the principal rolled by, and he's like, "What in the are you doing?" But he was cool with it, so it was anything to keep us out of trouble. We weren't
Yeah.
causing any trouble, so living in the gym is definitely a great thing to do. Um, Again, guys, we'll be on here for another 5 minutes or so. Anybody that has any questions, feel free to ask them in the question box. Click the question box below. You can ask them in the chat. So, got a question. How do you feel? How did you feel when you made the 1,000 point club in just 2 years?
Um, it was a big accomplishment for me, but that's not like the points is not the thing that really matters to me. It's about, my team and going to nationals and going far in the conference tournament and all that. It's not anything about the points.
That's awesome. Great answer. Great answer. With the national tournament, a lot of people that don't realize it's probably the hardest tournament to win. I think you have to win. I believe it's 5 games in 7 days or something crazy like
That's
that.
something like that.
Can you kind of talk about that experience? Did you get to go your freshman year? I know it got canceled this last year. Can you kind of talk about that experience?
Well, I have never played in even a state tournament or anything. The farthest we made was third round, so it was really a big difference. Like going up there for national tournament was the neatest thing. Like I would love for anybody to do that. It was so much fun, but like there's just so many other teams that are way better than us, and it's just I don't know. It was just a good experience.
So, like, how was it set up? Was it all at one site? Did y'all go to like a little regional site? How was it set up? Like, bring us through that day. Like, y'all flew up there, and like, then what kind of happened from there?
We flew up there and let's see. We had a banquet one night with like a big buffet. You had desserts, everything you could think of, and they introduced every team, showed you on the big screen and everything, and then like the game started the next day, and we did I think it was the Champions of Character or whatever walk where we walked and made the NAIA on the court, and they took the picture or whatever, and then that was about it. But like, there's always games going on.
So y'all all
I don't
playing at
know.
the same gym, same
Yeah.
site. Yeah, that's cool. So you were able to size up your competition at the buffet line? You're like, man, I'm about to bust this girl's behind tomorrow.
Yeah.
So when y'all got there, y'all didn't y'all win the first round? I
Yes.
forgot what happened. So y'all won the first round
We
uh,
won the first
on
round
one
by
day,
11.
and then turned
And
around and
then,
played the next day.
um, I don't think it was the next day. I think it was like a couple days later, maybe. I don't remember. I think it
Okay.
was a couple days later, and then we lost by 3 in the second round.
I know it just happened so fast. Like I just try to keep up with y'all, and I try to keep up with the men's team as well. And it happened so fast. It's like the tournament's over just like that.
Yeah.
It's not like the NCAA tournament to where you play 2 games, come home, and then go back the next week. It's like just pedal to the metal the whole time. So that's awesome to see for sure. You guys were set to get an at-large bid for the tournament this year, but it got cut short. Can you kind of talk about that? Having the season cut short and everything dealing with all the pandemic.
Well, I mean, we got to finish everything. We had actually, the Thursday that we actually found out that Thursday that that Wednesday that we didn't make the national tournament. So
Okay.
I guess it was disappointing not to make the tournament. Then it got canceled the next day. So I guess it was all okay in the end. But it was a disappointing to not be able to go to nationals, even if it wasn't canceled. It was just, it was a fun experience my freshman year, and I really want to go again.
Cool. So what's some again looking to your senior year. Again, guys, we'll be here for a little bit longer. If you guys have any other questions, we're gonna start wrapping it up here. If you have any questions, ask them in the question box. Looking towards your junior and your senior year, what's some goals for the team? Is it to get back to the tournament? win a couple games? Like, where do you see the team's next goal?
Hopefully to get regular season champs and to get conference champs and make it to the national tournament, but definitely to get some rings because I've never got one, so that's what I want to do.
I love it. So you trying to get some hardware. I love that.
Yeah.
Here's a good question. We'll end with this one. What's the best story or advice that Coach Bob has given you?
Trying to think of that saying he says. Can't even think of it. I cannot think of the saying he always says.
It's all right. You got any stories or anything?
Just know Bob is the goofiest person you will ever meet. But he's like, I guess he's like a dad to us mainly. Like he's got a big heart and he cares about us deeply. And he's always worried about us. It doesn't matter if it's basketball, it's anything outside of that. He's always there for us and everything. So that's one thing that's really good about the A. It just feels like really family.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Whether y'all got 5 people on the court or y'all got an actual full team of 10.
Yeah.
Last question I got, and then we'll get to see if you have any more advice for the girls watching. Is there anything that you kind of would have done differently? Were you kind of satisfied looking back? Is there anything you would have done differently? Maybe played AAU earlier or anything that you would have done differently along the way?
I definitely would have started AAU earlier if I'd have known of a team, but being that I live in the middle of nowhere, it was kind of hard. But that's about the only thing. Anything else, I really wouldn't change anything. I'm blessed.
Awesome. We got someone just jumped in. It's not really a question, but I just want to thank you for, I guess, at the end of the day, being a great role model for the girls. Somebody from Lake City Pride, some family there. I just want to thank you, and they're extremely excited and happy for everything you've done as a basketball player and as a person. So that's pretty cool. Last thing I want to leave you, if you could give, again, any more advice to any of the girls watching, like you said, it could be anywhere from a 4th grade girl. I think we have like some 6th, 7th grade girls that watch every now and then, all the way up to high school kids. Is there any advice you want to leave us with just throughout this basketball journey?
It's tough sometimes, but I promise it's all worth it in the end. Like all the work you put into it, it's gonna eventually pay off. It's not a waste of time.
And the next thing you know, you'll be making 10 threes in one game. Kelsey, I really appreciate your time with us. Everyone that joined us, man, I really appreciate it. If you need anything my way, please reach out. Hopefully we'll get some basketball in this coming season and we'll get to watch you guys. Be rooting for you guys, Coach Chris, Coach Bob, all LSUA family, man. Again, Kelsey, just thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, Kelsey.